Hi friends, this is Greg. Today I'll be doing a review of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra and comparing it to two other tablets, the iPad Pro M5 and the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra. We'll answer the question whether you should buy this tablet or not. Now let's do a quick unboxing of the Galaxy Tab S11 Ultra. I did pick up a case for the S11 Ultra. This is the Spigen Rugged Armor Pro case. This is what it looks like with the case on. As you can see, the case is built like a tank. In terms of specs, the Samsung S11 Ultra tablet was released in September of 2025 with a starting price of $11.99 USD for the 256GB model. It has a 14.6-inch AMOLED display with a max brightness of 1600 nits. It measures 5.1 mm thick and weighs 1.53 pounds. It has an 11,600 mAh battery. It has an IP68 dust and water resistance, which means you can put it in a 1 meter deep pool of water and it will survive. Let's see how this tablet stacks up against the competition. As we can see, the S11 Ultra and S9 Ultra are the same size and resolution. In practice, they're noticeably bigger than the iPad Pro M5. In terms of thickness, the three tablets are pretty much the same. You can't really tell a difference. In typical Apple fashion, the iPad Pro M5 is more expensive by $100 in terms of its starting price. It also doesn't come with a pen. You have to buy the Apple Pencil yourself for another $130, whereas the Samsung tablets come with a free pen. In terms of durability, the iPad Pro M5 has no official rating for water or dust resistance, while both the S11 and S9 Ultra are rated at IP68. This is a huge benefit, at least for me. Here's a thickness comparison between the Samsung S9 and S11 Ultra. It's pretty much the same. You can hardly tell the difference just by looking at them. Here's an example of the S11 Ultra screen playing a 4K video at max brightness. As you can see, it's a beautiful OLED screen. However, is it a meaningful upgrade compared to the S9 Ultra? You're about to find out. Here are the S11 and S9 Ultra tablets, both set to max brightness, playing a 4K game trailer. I believe this is a non HDR video mastered at 1000 nits. Can you tell which tablet is the new one? I don't think anybody could, and that is a problem. Here the S9 is at the top and the S11 is at the bottom. They're both playing an HDR video up to 4000 nits from the HDR Super channel. In person, you can tell the brightness of the S11 Ultra at the bottom is higher, especially the whites. You can also see the S11 Ultra has better reflection handling. In this scene, we can once again tell that the white brightness of the S11 Ultra is superior to the S9 Ultra. But I have to say, most people don't watch content above 1000 nits anyways, most of the time. So this extra brightness is kinda useless. This is different from an OLED TV like the Samsung S95F, where the top tier TV can have significantly brighter highlights, even on content that is mastered at 1000 nits. For example, it can get so bright, it pretty much blinds you. It may not be accurate, but you can definitely tell the difference between the top tier and mid tier, whereas you mostly can't tell the difference between the S11 and S9 Ultra in terms of display quality. Now we're going to compare the S11 Ultra with the iPad Pro M5. Here the iPad is on the top. As you can see, the thickness is pretty much the same between the two tablets. Here's a comparison of a 1000 nits 4K video between the S11 Ultra and the iPad Pro M5. As you can see, the image quality is similar. However, the aspect ratio of the iPad is really bad for 16:9 content, and you will get top and bottom black bars. Secondly, the S11 Ultra is way bigger than the iPad Pro. It is also better for content consumption, hands down. Here's a comparison of an HDR video up to 4000 nits between the iPad Pro M5 at the top and the S11 Ultra at the bottom. We can see in person that the tandem OLED used by the iPad Pro is actually brighter than the S11 Ultra. In certain scenes, for example at 4000 nits, we can see the S11 Ultra is actually clipping as compared to the iPad Pro. However, at 2000 nits, they're pretty similar. But again, the S11 Ultra is much bigger, so you can see more detail. And also, the iPad Pro has black bars at the top and bottom. I would prefer the S11 Ultra here as well. Now we're going to compare Geekbench CPU test. The S11 Ultra is on the left and S9 Ultra is on the right. In single core, the score is 2799 versus 2124, not much difference. But in multi-core, it is 9165 versus 5892, so the S11 Ultra is much better here. And here's the same CPU test for the iPad Pro M5 at the top and S11 Ultra at the bottom. As you can see, the M5 chip is significantly faster in both single and multi-core. Here's a look at the Apple Pencil and the S11 Ultra Pen. The Apple Pencil is more comfortable since it is bigger. So how's the writing experience? Actually, I like the Samsung Pen better. The nib is softer. I did get a chance to try out Steam Link on all three tablets. As you can see here, the S11 Ultra is streaming at a resolution of 2560 by 1600. The input latency is 1 millisecond and the display latency is 22 milliseconds. That is actually better than both the iPad Pro M5 and the S9 Ultra, but not by much. The S9 Ultra has the highest display latency out of these three at around 30 milliseconds. So what's my final conclusion? If you're committed to the Apple ecosystem, go with the iPad Pro. On the other hand, if you like Android, go with the Galaxy Tab. If you want to do some CPU or GPU intensive work on your tablet, such as editing videos, then definitely go with the M5 iPad Pro. However, I'm not doing anything like that, and for media consumption, the Galaxy Tab Ultra wins all day, every day. And in terms of whether you should upgrade to the S11 Ultra if you already have the S9 or S10 Ultra, honestly, I think you should just stick with the old one, because you can't really tell the difference, and the innovation is just not there. Maybe they'll come up with a bigger upgrade for the S12 Ultra next year. That's it for this review, and until next time, happy holidays and happy new year.